All right, so good morning, everyone. If this is your first time joining us for an eTherapy open house event, or if we've met with you before, we're so glad you're joining us today for our eTherapy coffee talk session featuring physical therapy services today. We hope you all brought your favorite morning beverage. Here's mine for this relaxed open house where you're going to be able to gather lots of information about eTherapy and where you'll have the opportunity to ask questions of one of our veteran therapists. We'd like to go ahead and introduce you to the Coffee Talk team for today. So we have with us one of our hiring managers, Jill Bierce. Unfortunately, our second hiring manager, Letitia Hall, isn't able to be here. She is busy doing some summer interviews for us, getting us ready for the upcoming school year. She's here in spirit. And both Jill and Tish are happy to answer any questions you might have during the hiring process as you move forward. We also have with us Stephanie McNamara, our Assistant Director of Operations. She's going to share with you about the support systems that we have built in here at eTherapy. Myself, Megan McGee, I wear several hats here at eTherapy, but I think the one that's most important to your experience is that I am a veteran teletherapist of almost 13 years now. I've worked for several companies over the years. I know that's always a tricky one to say, but I did feel like I found my home here at eTherapy going on 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, actually, now. And I can tell you firsthand how eTherapy truly shines in the world of telepractice. Save the best for last. We're excited to have a special guest with us today. Her name is Lauren Eckendorf. Lauren is one of our account managers. She's an occupational therapist by trade, but I know, OT, PT really kind of go hand in hand and work very closely together. And she is also a veteran therapist. So she's going to have a lot of great wealth of knowledge to share with you in just a little bit. We wanted to share with you just a brief overview of who we are and who we support. And we thought this message summed it up best. So I'm just going to play this video for a minute or two here.
Hi, from eTherapy. We have been providing online special ed related services to students for well over a decade. We serve early intervention through 12th grade, and we have the experience to know what works in the online learning environment. We provide face to face online sessions for mental health, speech therapy, OT, PT, behavioral services, and evaluations. We know that families are juggling so many responsibilities with online learning. So at eTherapy, we make the process simple. Students just go to our site, input their initials and date of birth, and they are taken to their confidential student profile page. From here, all they need to do is click one button to meet their therapist online. With our platform, the student never has to go to an outside video conferencing system. Everything is housed in one private and secure place. There are no links or URLs to remember. It's just one click to join the HIPAA compliant online session. So, what kind of activities will your student be doing, and what does the session look like? Teletherapy sessions are live, face to face, and interactive. The therapist will use activities and learning materials that address your student's IEP goals. And the types of digital materials our e-therapist can use are really limitless. They may share worksheets and type directly on the screen with the student. The therapist may use online whiteboards and visuals or videos to work on therapy concepts. The work can also be very hands on and can use manipulatives to address the skills your student needs to work on. The sessions don't always have to take place sitting at a desk. Your therapist may include movement activities to get your student engaged or to address motor skills. E-therapy sessions are very dynamic and engaging. Students can interact with fun games and activities directly on the screen. Our e-therapists make the process fun while addressing your students' individual learning needs. And we support students of all age ranges, including early intervention, providing parent coaching, support, and guidance in our face-to-face sessions. We are here to help, so please feel free to reach out to us with any questions or to learn more about how we can help your student reach their full potential with our easy to use online solution. We look forward to meeting you soon.
So now that you know a little bit more about who we are and who we serve, we'd like to share with you a video of the features that set us apart from our competitors. This is where the magic happens, the real star of the show, if you will, our star system.
Hi, and welcome to eTherapy's STAR platform. STAR is a user friendly and intuitive system that supports your daily work with students. Our STAR platform has automatic scheduling features. Student referrals come right to your dashboard automatically, and you can easily click to schedule the student right there from your dashboard. All of the student information is already embedded in the system for you so that you can easily click to add a single or recurring schedule on your session calendar. STAR also sends automatic session reminder emails to families with the login instructions so that you don't have to spend time sending instructions and reminders to families. When it's time to meet with students, you can start your online sessions with one click from your STAR dashboard. There's no need to go to an outside meeting platform or remember passcodes. It's all built into the system to make your life easier. Through STAR, you can view and track all of your session information quickly and easily. You can document IEP goal data for students and track their progress in STAR. Our STAR platform allows you to upload and download documents in a secure and HIPAA compliant manner. We also have a built in messaging system that you can utilize as a communication log and also to communicate directly with schools and staff. eTherapy also offers webinars and continued education opportunities so that you can continue to learn, grow, and be inspired. And be sure to check out the therapist tools and online activity links in STAR. There are tons of resources at your fingertips through STAR so that you can easily grab an activity and go. Directly from STAR, you can access a host of interactive materials, including e-therapy resources made just for you. At eTherapy, we don't limit you to one type of therapy activity in the platform, and we don't dictate what type of activities you can use. If you have your own materials that work well for you, you're welcome to use those. But if you need a little extra inspiration and tools, we offer a huge library of resources tailor made for what therapists need. Then you can choose what makes sense for you and your student with the click of a button. Through STAR, you can find brand new games and activities every month, free to our therapist, that can be used to target a variety of therapy goals. STAR is an easy to use and intuitive system that does much of the work for you so that you can focus on the important work that you do with students every day.
I can honestly say that I wish I had been fortunate enough to have access to STAR when I was providing teletherapy services. Just so many amazing time saving features all in one place. It's a real showstopper. I could go on about STAR all day, but I think I can do one better. I'm going to introduce you to someone who has used STAR firsthand. I'd like to introduce you at this point to Lauren Eckendorf, and Lauren is going to share with everyone what it's like in the day of a life as an e-therapist. So, Lauren, if you could tell us a little bit about what a typical day might look like, how that could vary from therapist to therapist, and then maybe a little bit about the supports that we have in here, have in place here at e-therapy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Megan. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Eckendorf. I am an occupational therapist, and I'm also an account manager at eTherapy, and have transitioned fully into that account management role. So I came to eTherapy then during the 17-18 school year as an occupational therapist. I also have background in elementary and special ed, so it kind of made sense to move into the role that I'm in now. Get to kind of blend my two backgrounds. But teletherapy was brand new for me when I came to eTherapy. I had been, in the outpatient setting, the school settings, but not teletherapy. And I would say for sure in the last couple years, we've seen our therapists come through with a lot more teletherapy background than prior to the last couple of years. But not everyone's coming in with teletherapy experience. And I think that's really important to know and feel comfortable moving forward is we've got people who are very comfortable with technology with Zoom, and then we've got people who kind of learn as they go. And all the students always think that you know what you're doing, so that's always a plus too. Your typical day, gosh, so you will have at the beginning of the year, worked on scheduling your students. If it's a virtual school, typically you'll be working with the parent or the learning coach. If it's a brick and mortar school, because sometimes we do work with brick and mortar schools to provide teletherapy services, you're looking at probably working on scheduling with the either the special education teacher or the aide that'll actually be physically moving the students back and forth. And for you, if you've been in the school-based setting, one thing that's wonderful about teletherapy is that you do not have to spend your time running back and forth between classrooms and buildings and floors looking for your students. Like the video showed, will go right to your schedule, click start your session, and your student will come in on the other side, and there you will be. It's very wonderful, and allows for that. So you're how do you structure your sessions? What you're doing is you structure your sessions based on those students' IEP goals. That's what you're targeting, and you as a therapist structure your sessions to either hit the long-term goals, the short-term objectives. Um, but you have the freedom to whatever you're doing, tie it back to those goals. And a question we get sometimes is who makes the goals, and that depends. Oh, the answer is always it always depends. Say we've gotten a student with an initial evaluation referral, and that initial referral goes to you for the evaluation. The PT evaluations can be done virtually, and we do them here virtually. And so if you've done that initial evaluation, you would then be the one recommending that first round of goals for that student. Sometimes a student will transfer into the school and have goals and services already established on their IEP. You would pick up where that IEP leaves off, and then the next annual review meeting, you could go ahead and upgrade or downgrade as appropriate. But at the end of the day, you are the physical therapist on that student's IEP team the same way you would be in a brick and mortar setting. And of course, it's always a team decision what the actual goals and frequencies end up being. But you play that same role, that same important role on the IEP team. So sometimes your day might include attending an IEP meeting virtually, and everyone's there, kind of looks like this, and everyone's there looking and nodding and talking, and you don't get to knock on the door, like maybe you would during the times we're running around the school. Most of that communication really is done via email with the student's case manager, the special education teacher, the general education teacher. And then sometimes within the disciplines, maybe the student has OT also. So it's funny because you think, oh, here I am in my living room or my office in my house, but you're still that PT in that school-based setting. You're just here. So you get to be a little more imaginative, I guess, in the way that you present and target those goals for your students. Looking at the supports that eTherapy has in place, the video did a nice kind of quick overview of the different topics that we have. We have resources for OTs, PTs, speech therapists, everybody. And what's nice is it's not certainly an exhaustive list of everything available on the internet or Pinterest, but it's a wonderful place to start. And say you have your plans set up, okay, I'm going to do this, this, or this, and you get into the session, and the student doesn't want to do that. That's not going to work because they don't have a ball, something, and so you got to do another something else. I had a physical therapist once who she wanted to work on dynamic balance. She had the student and the student's sibling actually, because she wanted to have them toss a ball, and I think he was on like one foot and the other, and the kids could not find the ball in the house. And so you get to be a little bit imaginative, and she had the students throwing the throw pillow from the couch back and forth. They were like, but it's the pillow. And she was like, it's fine. It'll be fine. It's going to do the same thing. Um, so you get to kind of, think on your feet a little bit there. Other supports therapy has, so you got to see STAR and how it automatically sends out those automated reminder emails, which is a huge time saver You don't have to remember, you don't have to have post-its and checklists. It's right there for you. You also have, depending on which schools you go to, you could have one account manager that is directly assigned to that school. If you're at two schools, you might have two of us. We come with our schools, we know our schools in and out. And like, so I'm not part of the IEP team anymore in my role as an account manager, but I get to support my therapists, which is my favorite part, really, in their roles. And I'm here to help my therapists be as independent and successful and efficient as possible in their role as the therapist on that IEP team for that student. So we're always here in the background and love to help brainstorm. We can also clean up messes if we have to. Much better to get them before they create messes. But I always tell everybody that I anticipate questions. You know, even if you've done teletherapy before, if you've been with another company or at a different school or you dabbled in it yourself, it's still a new platform, you know, it's a new system and you're going to have questions, and that's what our role is here for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. You did a great job of covering all those up
I
there.
feel like I hit most of them somehow.
You did, you did. I am gonna pick your brain on the last one now. So again, I know you're an OT, but you support a lot of PTs here and you work hand in hand with them. So do you have a success story or a favorite story that kind of sticks out in your mind, either from yourself or one of the PTs you work with that you could share with everyone?
Yes. I'll go with one of my own because it can apply to any type of therapist. And so when I first started, I had some students in Pennsylvania, and this one little boy just wasn't having it. He was not interested, did not want to participate, never had a pencil, didn't have paper, like, and I was just like, I know your mom printed out the stuff because she told me she did. And I mean, he would just sit there like this. The one time he was in his pajamas in his bed, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? I can't go be there and be like, okay, give me your hand. We're going to go off to the table now. Um, so after a couple sessions of me smiling and trying everything I could think of, I talked to his mom and I just said, little Timmy, I think is really quite a wonderful child, but he has no interest in OT. And what can I do to help that? Because I'm going to be working with him twice a week for the rest of the school year. And she gave me a couple things, you know, and this little boy really liked superheroes, Batman, and um, actually, I can't remember if it was Spider-Man or Superman, Batman for sure. And everything we did from there on out, for the most part, revolved around superheroes, Batman, somehow, or that was like the reward, you know, like if he did the task I wanted him to do, we could write a story about Batman. And to see a child be so bored and not want to do anything with you, and then connect on something, you know, that's outside of the IEP. The IEPs, as we all know, are incredibly helpful. They give you so much information, but they don't tell you that extra stuff, you know? And what's really cool about the teletherapy setting is you get that extra stuff because you're in more contact with the families. So um, that would be mine.
I love that. That's a great one and definitely, resonates personally with me too, just kind of finding that one thing that makes that kid tick. Awesome. All right, so we're going to pause here in us talking and give you all an opportunity to ask our expert. So if you're comfortable with it, feel free to turn on your microphone or in the chat pod. Do you all have any questions for Lauren at this point? Anything that you'd like to know more about being a need therapist? We'll answer some more logistic type questions later, but if there's anything you want to know about e-therapy or being an e-therapist. Lauren, can you talk a little bit about the training that occurs when someone comes on with e-therapy? I know Jill touches on this a little bit, but if you can kind of share from an account manager perspective what that training might look like for a new therapist.
Yeah, of course. So there are, hi, Stephen. Um, Thank you for your question. There are a ton of videos, all done by Sarah, whose voice you heard earlier. So you know it's very comforting and wonderful, that you get to watch. You get to have access to. It walks you through everything you need to know, from this is how you get your student, this is how you schedule, this is where the templates are. It walks you all through that. And what we also offer is, if you'd like to meet with the person who will be your manager, we are always happy to do that too. I tend to like to offer to my therapist, before we get started, do you have any questions? How can I help? Okay, this is the type of template you're going to send. And then as you get going, you can, like I said, just ask questions. It's always good to ask questions. So you've just got a wealth of resources there within Star, but you will also have your managers who are able to help too.
Awesome. I think it's great that there's kind of multi-modalities in that training. Like you said, if you're more an independent learner, there's videos to guide you, but I love that there's a personal contact as well. Absolutely, Stephen. Any other questions? I know we have a small group, so maybe Lauren did such a great job too. She might have answered all your questions before you even asked them. All right. I'll keep an eye on the chat pod just in case, but like I said, I want to keep moving so you guys can get on with your day. So feel free to stick anything else that might pop in your head in the chat pod. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Stephanie, our Assistant Director of Operations. And Stephanie's going to share with you a bit more detail about the support roles that we have here at eTherapy that guide our eTherapists to being so successful.
Thanks, Megan. So our operations team is made up of our hiring team, our account managers, myself, and our director of operations. We all work very closely together to just have a better understanding of both our school needs and directly what you are looking for as a therapist. So it all starts with our hiring team when they meet with you to go over what you are looking for, both in your hours and your background. While that is happening, our account managers and myself are meeting with the schools to find out what the caseloads and what the school specifics are. So, Lauren did an amazing job of talking about what an account manager is going to do once you are brought on. So, she goes over the onboarding, the resources in STAR, where you can kind of get a good training through those videos and an overview. But then our account manager is also going to meet with you and have that ability to walk you through or answer any questions. And that goes through your entirety of eTherapy. So whether it's billing, whether it's just kind of having a sounding wall to say, hey, I don't know what to do with this student. I'm having some trouble. Maybe that student's not participating, and Lauren can share that story of her student and the superheroes again. But whatever it is, billing, tech, school specifics, our account managers jump in to help you from start all through your entirety with eTherapy. We do always have our account managers on our emails with the schools, so that way a lot of the times we can jump in and solve a problem before it's even happening. So you also heard Lauren say that she was previously a therapist. And that's why we can kind of see and predict some of these problems maybe brewing before they even happen, especially when we're newer to e-therapy or to online therapy in general. And that's because our account managers were therapists. So we're able to have some of that foresight. So having your account manager on those emails, they're having dialogue with the schools, they're having dialogue with you, and they'll jump in and they will solve some of those problems for you and with you. So that way you don't have bigger problems down the road. So overall, your account manager becomes your best friend, and we're all working directly together, the hiring team, myself, and our director of operations to support you and our schools.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. All right. So we've come to the part of our coffee talk where you're going to get to meet the team who's going to guide you through next steps of the journey if you decide you might like to join the eTherapy team. Jill's going to talk you through next steps in the process if you're looking to move forward in the process after everyone leaves here today. And I also wanted to mention, I know another chat pod question came in. Don't worry, we're going to address that here just a little bit too. So Jill, can you tell us about next steps?
Yeah, of course. So, next steps, it's really simple. eTherapy tries to make everything as efficient and user friendly and simplified for you to walk through all of our steps and processes to get to your caseload. So, Megan's going to put up in the chat box a couple of different links that you can check out. The first link is to our sign up page on our website, which is basically the application. We don't do a typical application process because we like to do things a little different here at eTherapy. So by going to that sign up, you're just going to give us a couple of basic pieces of information, your name, what type of therapist you are, and some contact information. From that point out, you'll be able to expand that profile, give us a little more information, what states you're licensed in, your availability, so that we can make a better assessment of where would be the best place to assign you. So once you sign up, then you'll have the option to interview with us. So Megan also put up the Calendly link, so you'll have an easy option to interview with me. It's going to have all of my availability on it, so you can pick the best day and time that works for you. So once we get into the interview, we'll go over some basic information about you so that I can make sure we have the best placement for you. I'll also answer any and all of your questions that you might have after leaving here. More questions usually pop up even after the interview, so you'll have plenty of opportunities to connect with me after the interview as well. If you decide you want to move forward with eTherapy and come on board, then we'll move you through the onboarding process. During our interview, we may also talk a little bit about what states you're licensed in. If you don't know, then this is a really wonderful thing that we go through is the PT Compact licensure. eTherapy follows that PT Compact really closely because it's a really wonderful tool working remotely. PT is typically not a very busy concentration in schools. It's usually a few kids here, a few kids there. So we want to make sure that if you want to come on board and have a full-time caseload, we can get you there. So being part of the PT Compact is huge. I can send you a link to there, walk you through the process of how to get signed up. If you're eligible, you have to be residing in a state that's part of the compact, and that's all you need. So once you have that PT Compact, that's really valuable for eTherapy because it's really simple for you to get additional state licenses through that compact. We might have a caseload pop up in Oregon, and we'll contact you and say, hey, we just had 5 kids come in through Oregon. Would you like to get that compact licensure for us? And we'll assign those kids to you. That sounds good. Perfect. So it only takes you usually I think Lauren, I think it's like a week or 2, sometimes a day. I know we had one rock star therapist who had 15 different state licensures at one point. And she had pretty close to a full-time caseload because she, every time we had a new need, she was like, yeah, I'll get it. Perfect. So the compact licensure is huge. So we'd love to have any PT on board with us getting that so that it's easier to get you licensed in other states. And then once you're obtaining other licenses, going through the onboarding, that's when you'll meet the account manager and we'll transfer you over to Stephanie and getting you assigned to your cases. And so that way you can get rolling from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Jill.
Yeah.
All right. So we are winding down. Don't worry. If your mug's almost empty, you're going to soon have time to grab a refill. It's been an absolute pleasure to share my morning coffee with you all. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope to see you all again in the future, whether it be at one of these events again or, better yet, at an interview soon. And we hope you all have a wonderful day.